for our 360 round. Let's talk about Nvidia. The earnings are due out after the bell. Everybody's been waiting on this for about a month since earnings season began. You've had February 26th on your calendar. All these tech stocks are lined up with options trades in the options market for 10% swings. Let's have our panel see what they have to say about this. Joining me right now here in studio is Spenser HakimIan is here, Chief Investment Officer at Toulouse Capital Management, and Greg Halter, Director of Research at Carnegie Investment Council. Thank you both for being with us. So, Greg, why don't you tell us your thoughts on Nvidia, which had a high of 153, has since pulled back, right? And that was in early January, and since then has pulled back year to date. In fact, it's down 1%. Where do you think Nvidia goes after tonight?
I think the options markets are pricing in a plus or minus 13% move. So we'll see. I will state also that over the last, I think, 9 months, the shares have basically been flat. So if anything, relative to valuation, the earnings are catching up to the stock price, if you will. And I expect more good numbers coming out after the close tonight.
Yeah, the options market, I did notice that some of the whales were piling in to the bullish trade, bullish stance, and this was at 10:30 this morning, an article that talked about options activity, unusual options activity. It has come off the highs. Some of your thoughts here, Spenser.
Yeah, so, as it implies with options, there is clearly a big move priced in either direction, as there always is with NVIDIA. I think perhaps even more interesting than just the earnings alone will be the guidance, what NVIDIA says regarding anything about DeepSeek, Grok, Llama from Meta. There are so many competitors that are coming along, and I'm looking for any clarity on if they see anything, if they're seeing demand shift in either direction. We got some rumors that Microsoft was trying to get out of some AI leases, so we would just like to see some clarity going forward about this story, because a lot of the market for 2025 is priced on tech earnings growth, and if we don't get that, it could be trouble.
Yeah, and you make a great point talking about the competition, what happened with DeepSeek. That's a new conversation that we're going to have. I mean, we saw the DeepSeek sell-off day where, can everything move faster and cheaper? And, maybe we don't need these big guys the way we originally thought. What was your reaction to that kind of day, Greg?
Well, I was on vacation, and actually it was kind of a shock to see the moves that were happening since that came out, I think, over the weekend and on a Sunday. So the Monday's trading was startling, to say the least, on what all this means. Since that point, you've had the mega companies, if you will, not really step back on their capital spending plans at all. In fact, I just saw today that Meta is potentially talking about a $200 billion AI data center, and they're talking about chips and the delays in chips from Nvidia and so forth and so on. Who knows if that will come off or not, but this is on the back of their facility they're putting up in Louisiana. So there continues to be all kinds of big news. GE Vernova made an announcement today as well on the power side. So it looks like they're going full steam ahead, and they'd rather have more than less at this point.
So if Nvidia pulls back tonight or tomorrow morning or whatever, do you think that's a buy, Spenser, when you look at this? I mean, for the big picture, or do you wait and see?
Again, it depends what it's pulling back for. If the company was guiding for 40% growth and it came in at 38, a pullback, maybe a buy there. But if they are saying that they are getting a lot of competition, I think you want to be very careful here. AI as a whole is undoubtedly going to change this world, but the individual companies, it is very hard, even at this point in time, to tell who is going to be the ones that are going to benefit from this. So I would be very cautious and just, play by the minute.
Even just the broad-based story for all of these tech and chip stocks is tariffs and how that could affect things. I mean, that's something. I mean, they have the Blackwell line of chips, which obviously has huge demand, insane demand, or whatever he called it. That's something that they'll probably brag about, I'm sure. But they have tariffs looming, coupled with with the export controls, right, to China. Are they going to be able to send their processors to China, right? That's something not just for NVIDIA, but all these tech stocks. Are you eager to hear about that?
Absolutely, because I'm looking for NVIDIA is always trying to modify their chips to be within the regulations of these export controls the United States have placed on, so they can export to China. With that being said, the direction of this trade war seems to be just getting stricter and stricter, and they're making it more difficult for NVIDIA to trade chips with China. So we're always looking for commentary on that. China is the biggest market for chips in the world as we currently stand.
Do you like semis for the most part, or no?
At these prices, I don't.
No, they're a little frothy. Greg, just quickly, AI investments, you were talking about this Apple, Meta. I mean, you're seeing that, and that could really buoy the group in general. Final quick thought, quickly.
Yeah, definitely could. You really have to look company specific on what they're doing. We also heard the other day from Apple's going to spend $500 billion over the next 4 years, which is a lot given that their CapEx over the last 10 years, I think, has averaged about $10 or $12 billion. So that's a major ramp up if it actually happens.
Well, it's highly anticipated. We'll be watching it. We'll be having it here right for you on Schwab Network. So don't miss it. And thank you both for being here. Spenser HakimIan, thank you very much here on set. And also Greg Halter. Thank you both.